In this video, I'm going to show you how to make your own scatter brush and be able to apply it inside a shape. So there are many ways to make a scatter brush. You can draw one and then bring it into Photoshop and then bring it into Illustrator through LiveTrace. You can find them online, plenty of them to be had, and you can make your own in Illustrator. Now this is me honestly just experimenting because usually I find them through various sites, but you do have to tend to pay for them unless you score a cool website or something. So I'm going to show you what I did here to create this. So honestly, what I did, I started off with a black shape, and I would always work in black because we can change that obviously. So I started off with a black circle, and then all I did was that I erased the black circle to just make randomized shapes, because that's what you really want, right? It's a texture, so you want to work with that. So if you go to Shift E, that will give you the erase tool. And again, I just went around like this, and each of them are going to be unique, right? I really try to get rid of that outline there as much as possible, and just randomly making shapes throughout there to create something like this. Now the next thing I did was, after I was in this part, I went in and I sort of separated them out, so it looked more like a tiny explosion, and the space around was no longer really a circle anymore. It's more like an abstract shape. And those are the 3 steps to get started in making your own brush. And you can see, like, I can have little pieces like that because they're all separated. Once you erase, they're no longer together, right? They're not grouped. You can group them, but you don't need to. Second, what I did is that I brought in this size into my brushes to make one, but it was way too big. So I would suggest going smaller. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to make it even smaller. And we're going to go off of this one. So what I need to do is open my brushes. If you can't find that, just come under Window, and then Brushes right here. And you can, get rid of these if you want, so they're not in your way, different things like that. It's not deleting them forever, just like off this panel. And then I'm just going to come here to the plus sign, or what you can do as well is just click and drag that right on in. You have various things you can do here, but obviously I want to create a scatter, a texture, so I'm going to keep scatter. Now, the thing I do not like about Illustrator with this is that right now I can't preview it, but if I okay it, I can come back in and preview it. It's a weird thing. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. Now, one thing I am going to change is just make a hue shift, and what that does, that allows me to change the colors when I'm in the editing mode outside. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come over to my pencil tool here. No need to get out the pen tool if you don't want to, and just, go like that, and then click on my brush. And this is what I'm getting, okay? And I'm going to go back to black just to keep it neutral here. And now I can come back in and I can hit preview. And this is where I can have some fun. So you can fix random pressure. The pressure is great if you have a stylus or a Wacom tablet or a tablet of some sort. You can have a lot of fun with that. You can try fixed, you can try random. They're all different. So I'm just going to go fixed, and I'm going to pump this up and see how that looks. And I can also decrease it. So obviously for this purpose, I don't really want it decreased. I actually want to increase it so they're close together. And I really like that. So with spacing too, I can maybe decrease it a little bit so they're even closer together, or I can spread them out. Again, let these work for you. So that might be a little bit too much, but I kind of like that. And then scattered, that's really scattering away from your initial line. That's something you want to play with a little bit more. But I might go random there. And then rotation, I might write random too, just to, be a little bit different. Okay? And I can come here and I can play with those. Really, a lot of this is experimentation. So if this is fixed, you can't move this side, but if it's not fixed, you can. So there we go. I'm going to try that one out, and I'm going to push OK. All right, so I'm going to delete that line, and there we go. So that's my new one there. So I'm going to create new shapes. So I just pulled out the star shape, and I'm actually going to hold down Option to make it big. And I'm going to come up here to my direct selection and make it a little bit rounder. And then I'll come here, just make it smaller, and I'll go ahead and select this light violet color. I'm thinking sort of like flower-esque type vibe here. Okay, so what I would do here is make sure that, you know, this shape can be highlighted, but really I'm going to come here and I'm going to draw. So like think about your light source or things like that, how you want them textured. But I'm just going to come here and sort of wrap my brush around. And notice here I'm not actually using the brush. I'm actually using the pencil tool and I'm using stroke. Now if I come to brush, it will do the same thing, right? So it really just depends. Like they're going to be different on your Wacom tablet. They're going to be different, you know, how you want to utilize them. So there it is there. Now, this is, you know, too bright. It's not going to do it justice. So I'm actually going to come here, making sure, again, it's on the stroke. That's how it works. And just bring that down a little bit. And I really like that texturization. With this highlighted, I am going to do Command X or Control X, and that just means cut. You can also go up to Edit and Cut as well, but that's a great hotkey to learn. Next, what I'm going to do is come down here to this icon, or a great hotkey again is Shift D, and you'll know that it's working because it has this sort of box around it. That means we're basically sort of like clipping it inside, okay? And then what you're going to do is Command V, and that will move it inside just that. So if I ever need to get back to here to adjust it, change the color, all I have to do is double click. You can see this turn gray, and what that means is that it's sort of like in a sub layer. So if I ever want to change it a color, which will not be that one, but you know, a fun color or something, woo, that's a lot, but I can go ahead and change it. We're going to do some backup moves there. There we go. Much better. All right, so again, I'm going to come here, come to my brush. You know, this time around, I'm going to really focus on the inside here. And I'm going to, let's see, go for a darker purple. So come here, darker purple here. And with this, I can bring up my stroke. So you can see how brushes are imperfect, right? And so if I go to a 4, that's what could happen. So you really want to be careful with that. And so for this one particularly, 1 worked great. So I'm going to come here and just wrap it around. Okay? So again, now I'm going to do Command X. Highlight this, come down here, or do Shift D. Again, it's in that box. And then do Command V. Okay? And I can come here and I can stretch it out a little bit if I want to. I could even, you know, copy it if I so desire. Move it around and rotate it. It's a bit trippy, but there you go. You know, if I need to, I can lock this layer, Command 2, and then bring this one out a bit. And then go ahead and click off the gray, or into the gray, and that will get rid of that. Okay? And that is really it. So, you know, with this, you might want to come in more, different things like that. But you can see how, yes, like you can do that through layering for that one, but this one is totally hidden. You can see how it's not coming off the shape or anything like that. And that's how that works. And that is really it. So that is how you can make an easy scatter brush if you want to, and how you clip it in to make really cool textures. And that's how I made this Valentine's here. Now, I did find this brush online for free, so I was able to utilize that. But really, I was just working with colors, color palettes, and to have some fun and give it a texturization. So you can see up close, it is really wonky, right? But farther away, it does give a nice little texturization to the whole piece.